Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about how you should be building your free-to-play Snow White Innocent days. Obviously, if you should get dupe, I'm going to show you guys how you guys are able to get dupes of this character past max limit broken. And then also the skills, priorities, the cubes, overload gear, and then possibly her best teams as well. Now we are 150 or less than 150 subs away from 9,000. And we need 10k by the end of the year. So if you're new, subscribe for sure. But obviously this character is, some people are calling her the real anniversary unit because Red Hood is, this the incident with Red Hood, right? But Snow White has actually, for a free-to-play character, like for the first time ever in this game, we got a pretty good free-to-play character. Well, second time. Neve was pretty good. And then obviously, I want to say Ray, right? Ray was pretty decent. But this is like an actual character that not only is free, but I see a lot of people using. Like, this character has more value than a lot of the summonable characters in the game today. So really, it's like A, W. So let's talk about the skills and what you should be focusing on. So right now, my Snow White has a level 555 builds. It's really simple, right? After her whole gimmick is you attack a lot of times, she does AoE damage. Her whole thing is to kind of clear projectiles and mobs, right? And that's her whole thing. So when you land 30 normal attacks, she gives herself max ammo capacity by a percentage. That stacks up to 5 time, lasts for 5 seconds. And then after you land 30 normal attacks, enemies within that range will have 155 or whatever percentage is for you. They will have a percentage of final attack dealt, like as damage, right? Which is pretty crazy. Final attack is very good for this character, especially since the other stuff she has, which I'm going to talk about. Her skill 2 activates when landing 50 normal attacks. All enemies, no matter where they are on the map, deals 47 or whatever percentage for you of final attack is damage. And then when you use the burst skill, she gives herself an attack damage buff. Not an attack buff, an attack damage buff. So an attack damage buff increases the attack damage, right? The damage number rather than your attack stat, essentially, right? So there's a massive difference there, right? Because 10% increase to your attack percentage is not 10% increase to your damage, I believe, right? Because that's stats and damage, you know how it is, right? And then burst skill, when you use her burst skill, the requirement of the skill 2, it goes from 50 to 30, and then obviously she gives herself a massive attack buff of her attack, and it has unlimited ammo. I think at level 10 it's 97% that attack buff, which is crazy for 10 seconds. That's crazy. So yeah, in terms of what you should be focusing on, realistically it's the entire kit. I'd say level up, like level it all up as you go, right? There's not really one kit I would say you need to specifically work on. Probably her burst skill, I guess, right? But her burst skill has different mats than her skill 1 and skill 2 regardless. In terms of what's better between the skill 1 and skill 2, probably the max ammo capacity. You want to have as much ammo capacity as you can, so that you can deal these without having to reload, and it's more efficient. So focus on the burst skill first, then skill 1, skill 2, but ideally you'd want all the skills leveled up equally at the same time, right? 555 is a very good spot to leave it at. You don't have to go fully invested in her. But this is not like the other Snow White. You don't have to fully invest into her. She works well like a 555. But if you want to, by all means, right? In terms of how to get dupes for her, right? And should you get dupes for her? Honestly, I think max limit broken is a good spot, but if Snow White's your favorite character, by all means, how you get dupes is actually from here. Right here, actually. Perfect. So Snow White, it's the same thing like Ray, right? All the free-to-play SSR have their body dupes in here. So right now I can buy 2 of her dupes, which would give me max limit broken, plus the free dupes they're giving, core 2 minimum right there, right? If I was to buy her dupes, right? So, yeah, you can buy Snow White dupes in the shop. I'm glad it was there at reset. It wasn't there earlier, but reset happened. I'm glad it showed up so you guys could see it. But yeah. And then in terms of her cube, I get rid of Asian cube as much she attacks. She's already increasing max ammo capacity, so Wingman isn't really necessary. But if you want, then by all means. I get rid of Asian cube because she increases max ammo capacity, and every time she lands 10 bullets, she recovers bullets. So it's really much an efficient way You don't really need the reload speed. It's not bad to have the resilience cube. Obviously, you want Bastion, or I think it's called Bastion. What is it? Is it Bastion or Bastion? I don't know what it's called. I think it's Bastion or Bastion. I don't know, but you want either this cube or the resilience cube for sure, right? Again, you could have Wingman. It's really up to you, but resilience, Wingman, or Bastion cube, probably your best leveled up cube of the three. But I probably recommend Bastion cube, especially since she already gives herself a lot of ammo capacity. Now, in terms of overload, I don't have overload on here, so I'm just gonna go to Red Hood real quick to show you guys what you should be giving her. In terms of the overload gear for Snow White, I'm just using Red Hood's overload gear to show you guys. But what you should be going for Snow White is definitely attack percentage, since all her damage is actually scaled off of final attack. You definitely want to have the attack percent increase. You could have the elemental damage too. I don't really know if you need all that, since she's not really that great against bosses. And I feel like when it comes to mobs already, it's not that big of a deal, personally. But I would say definitely go for attack percentage. You can go for ammo capacity here if you want to. You're already getting a lot of ammo capacity from her skill 1, but if you want more, this is probably the way. And then you could have crit rate, crit damage. Because she attacks a lot, she's going to crit. You're going to see a lot of crits with this character, right? Because she's damn near infinitely shooting. You're going to see a lot of crits with this character. So probably crit rate or crit damage. It's either or. So I would say attack percentage, ammo capacity, or crit rate, crit damage, right? Again, you can go for elemental damage as well. That's fine. But I don't really think you're going to use this character in a boss setting. Well, I mean, technically you are. Like for Land Eater, most likely Material H and Nihilister. But it's like, you're going to be using her for projectile clearing, not necessarily boss clearing, right? So if I'm putting her against Land Eater, I'm using her to get rid of all the missiles, the projectiles that come in. So elemental damage is not necessarily needed there, right? And same thing goes for Modernia, Material H, Mother Will, possibly, right? So probably go for max ammo capacity, attack percentage, crit rate, or crit damage. It's really up to you which one you want there. Now, in terms of her team, right, she's like any other DPS. So obviously characters like Naga and Tia, Litter, these three characters right here are going to be very good for her to increase her attack. Oh, and I think her best partner, like if you actually are going to use her, her best team would be with the Bunny Girls. Because when you use Blanc's Burst 2, you do end up getting the damage taken to all enemies. And again, Snow White, Innocent Days, is the mob clearing character, so having damage taken increase to all enemies is so helpful for her. And then also, because you're paired up with Noir, Noir's whole thing is when you enter a full burst, she ends up giving all allies ammo capacity increase and reloading their mag. So that's going to be easily the best partner for Snow White. So Bunny Girls is definitely going to be her best partner, right? But if you want damage, you could have the Schoolgirls, but I highly recommend running her with Bunny Girls, right? You don't really want to run her with characters who necessarily are lowering her ammo capacity. It's not like it's a problem, if you want to be honest, right? It's not a problem at all if you are going to be running her with Privity, for example, or Litter. It's not really well, Litter increases their max ammo capacity, so that's good as well. But like Privity, for example, it's not a problem if you run her with that, but like probably try to stay clear of it. Again, you can run her with Privity, but like you want her to have a lot of ammo, right? And Privity cuts it down by half. Whatever her ammo is, and let's say she has 500 ammo, let's say, it gets cut down to 250. Quite a lot of bullets you're missing out. That's a lot of things could be happening with this character. So just keep all that in mind, but you probably want to run it with Bunny Girls and then another DPS, and then probably Litter as well, since Litter increases max ammo capacity and gives you a massive attack buff as well. So Litter, Bunny Girls, her, and then another DPS, and then you're good to go, right? So yeah, I think this is a great character, one of the best characters. This is the best free-to-play characters we've gotten. Very good, especially since she's a free pilgrim. I'm glad they didn't shaft her like they did Nihilister, and Nihilister has so much more requirements, right? Liberation character, and then also 2031 has to be cleared is ridiculous, right? I mean, for nowadays, probably not, since most people are done that, but like this character, you just open the game and you get her. So yeah, this is what, again, some people call the real anniversary character, but you guys let me know what you think. And And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Subscribe. We're less than 150 away from 9K. If you're watching this and you're new and any of these videos were helpful, you enjoyed them, subscribe. Alrighty, I'm out. Peace.